Live from Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, this is Galaxy TV News. Let's get things started. Nigerian Senate set to meet with Minister for Justice Abubakar Malami and Chief Justice of Nigeria Tanko Muhammad on the congestion of prisons. Plus on the news, Lagos Federal High Court arraigns Azeez Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, for engaging in fraudulent activities. Outside Nigeria, at least 11 people killed and others wounded in an ISIL attack in eastern Iraq. Those are top stories. We have details now. And now, wherever you're watching from around the world, we are live from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. On our first story, the Senate Committee on Interior has again pledged to decongest Nigeria's prisons known as correctional centers. This was the resolution of the committee Wednesday during the budget defense session with the boss of the Nigerian Correctional Services, Galaxy's Godfrey Eshemoge was there and tells us more.
It was meant to be a budget defense session for the correctional services, but it ended up being a discussion on reforms of the country's prison system. First of all, the issue of food rations for prison inmates was considered, and the committee resolved to review the feeding ration of inmates from 450 to at least 1,000 naira per day.
Before, inmates have been paid, have been fed 450 naira per day, which is so low when you compare to what is happening now. That the prices of things we have skyrocketed, and as such, we requested for improve or increase from 450 to 750, which we put in 2022 budget. That is where we are now.
What you have is 750. 750 per day.
750 proposed. 750 per inmate per day.
No.
It has.
I expected you to take it to 1,000. Then we will look at it and see how we can come down to 750. Now, if you say do 750, the tendency is that we will say, okay, let's just get this thing down here. You know, you are dealing with human beings, adults. These are people who we are having here. You know what what the cost of feeding in the country is here today. In Buka, in this small book anywhere. I'm not talking about Go Hotel. I say just in a Buka, for an adult, you give the person 750 in a day. That's 250 per one. How can that person survive?
You wrote 450 or 750 in recognition of the ground realities of the Nigerian economic system. But I can assure you that as a family, we will look at the issues at stake, talk to the leadership of the Senate, because you are operating the envelope system, but that envelope has to be enhanced. We have to open up the envelope and see to it that adequate provisions are made for the feeding of the inmates, so that instead of reforming Nigerians, we should stop producing hardened criminals out of the system.
Of the over 66,000 inmates in the country's correctional centers, about 80% are unconvicted. In view of the serious challenge of congestion of Nigeria's correctional centers, the committee therefore resolved to reach out to the Office of the Attorney General, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Bar Association to find a possible way out.
If you look at the number of prisoners we have in the system, we have a total number of 66,346 prisoners. Out of these people, it might interest you to know that the unconvicted amount to 47,559. There has to be synergy between all arms of the government, the judiciary, the executive, as well as the legislature. If we can get rid of this unconvicted, those that deserve to be convicted we should pass judgment. Our judiciary should work on that. This population will be drastically reduced, and you will have ample opportunities as the resources at your disposal.
I, on behalf of my constituency and member of this committee, move that this committee will take decisive action after the passage of this budget to meet with all the stakeholders in justice delivery in this country, starting from the CJN, starting with moving to the NBA, Nigerian Bar Association, and all other people involved in the court processes to ensure that we reduce to the barest minimum the number of convicted people in the prison service so that we can reduce costs.
Godfrey Eshamoge, Galaxy News, Abuja.
Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning all.
Now let's stay with the National Assembly for a moment, as the House of Representatives Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation is seeking ways of enhancing and advising the cause of fighting cyber crimes and other criminalities in the country. Now, 2 bills were considered in the process of advancing this cause, which are a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Computer and Forensic Institute of Nigeria, and a bill for an act to establish the National Institute of Oil and Gas Technology of Nigeria. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Benny Lar, says the bills could not have come at a better time like this, when the country is faced with different forms of cybercrime and criminality, as well as youth restiveness due to lack of jobs. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, was represented by the Deputy Majority Leader, Peter Patterson, says the bills, when passed, will address the concerns of Nigerians.
This bill could not have come at a better time than now, that the nation is faced with a myriad of security challenges. The bill seeks to provide electronic evidence in solving all manners of crimes without exception. The bill also seeks to not just detect crime, but provide evidence that is acceptable in a court of law, and to set standards that will be acceptable for computer forensics in Nigeria.
Both of these bills contain important provisions and seek to make long-lasting changes. They are also both establishment bills that will impose significant and long-standing financial obligations on the public purse. For that reason alone, if nothing else, they deserve our thorough appraisal.
One is not going to draw a kobo from the coffers of the federal government of Nigeria. This bill is not going to add weight to the already, heavy wage bill that we are going through in this country. It's going to generate funds on its own, for its own activities.
Today, we have more of artisans from Benin Republic and all the rest. They'll come here, they go back with our money. And at the end of the day, we patronize them more, believing that they have more skills than our own people.
The Office of the National Security Advisor invited the Institute through the President to deliver a presentation on development of digital forensics capacity and provision of regulatory oversight functions. Hence, Professor Olaiwola passionately concludes and recommends that the 6th Form Bill should be speedily considered as fundamental to the national security, equity, and justice in the administration of criminal justice in Nigeria.
Now, away from that, the Nigerian Communication Commission (NCC) has advised Nigerians to avoid clicking unnecessary links sent to their device through short message services, SMS, and emails. Director of New Media and Information Security, NCC Haru Al-Hassan, gave this caution while addressing journalists towards the forthcoming cybersecurity conference in Abuja Wednesday. Al-Hassan urged users of online softwares and telecommunications to install applications called anti-malware and anti-spywares from a genuine source to protect their devices from being hacked, adding that the users should ensure that they are updating their operating systems regularly.
What the user should do first, the users should avoid clicking unnecessary links sent to their device through SMS or emails. That is clicking links that will lead you to something. That's one. And users should ensure that they install some applications that is called anti-malware and anti-spyware on their devices.
The Cybersecurity Conference is scheduled to hold on the 2nd and 3rd November 2021 in Abuja. The Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and hundreds of Christians drawn from various parts of the country are expected to attend the annual Christian Legislators Fellowship National Breakfast Prayer meeting scheduled for Thursday, October 29. CLF President Senator Emmanuel Bachwa, who spoke during a media chat, disclosed that Bishop David Abioye of the Living Faith Chapel will be the guest speaker, adding that the topic was chosen deliberately to answer the challenges of the time from different spheres of lives. Responding to questions on leadership crises and complacencies by Christian legislators at both national and state level, Senator Emmanuel said the fellowship is non-partisan, stressing that the mandate is intercessory. Let's shift our focus now to court matters, and back here in Lagos, as the Federal High Court in Lagos has arraigned Azeez Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, for engaging in fraudulent activities. The prosecution on Wednesday displayed before a Federal High Court in Lagos virtual projection of a compact disc with analysis of the iPhone of the singer. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, projected the virtuals through its second witness, a forensic analyst, Augustine Anoshike, who continued his evidence in the trial of the defendant, who is facing an 11-count charge bordering on conspiracy, possession of counterfeit credit cards, as well as fraud. Naira Marley was arraigned on May 20, 2019, before Justice Nicholas Owebo pleaded not guilty to the charges. Galaxy's Daniel Tanimu reports that according to the EFCC, the defendants committed the offenses on different dates between 2018 and 2019.
To make extractions from the iPhone that was recovered from the defendant, Naira Marley, and he gave evidence of what he recovered there that was extracted from the phone. Now, case now adjourned to 30th November and 14th December 2021 for continuation of cross-examination.
Justice Owebo adjourned the trial to November 30, December 13, and December 14 for continuation of hearing. You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. Let's take a break, but just ahead, Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has berated Minister for Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, over deplorable roads in Ogun State. We'll tell you details of the story and more in just a moment. Stay with us. You're watching the news on Galaxy TV, and we absolutely appreciate it. Now, for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Galaxy TV Nigeria. You can follow or interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Galaxy TV Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. If you have breaking news around you, you can avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. Simply share a story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818 666 669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. And now to health stories. Global Emergence Pathogens Treatment Consortium has organized its 7th African Conference on One Health and Biosecurity. The conference focuses on the need for Africa to tap into genomic intelligence in order to reduce vulnerability of Africans to diseases. Iribami Salako tells us more in this report.
The theme for this year's Get African Conference is Universal Approach to Addressing Biosecurity Threat, Genomic Intelligence and Vaccine. Understanding the genetic makeup of any pathogenic organism is identified as important in developing vaccines to cure ailment. The recognition of different variants of coronavirus, Ebola, Lassa fever, and so on have been credited to genomic intelligence. Due to global warming, many pathogens could mutate, hence the need of African countries to invest in biosafety laboratories to help contain diseases and flattening waves to reduce vulnerability of citizens.
It has been predicted as far back as 2017 that the world was going to experience a global biological threat of the magnitude that would destabilize most countries and cause economic hardship, insecurity across the globe.
But ultimately the goal is actually to build the next generation of African pathogen hunters, hunting these pathogens in Africa, in the field of the continent, and then start playing what I call offense, that is, understanding them, characterizing them, and developing the countermeasures before they come to us.
The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, gives assurance and plans to ensure biosafety in Nigeria.
We say to ourselves that we will set out a budgetary process that will ensure that we will not reduce our spending on human capital development. So our health and education spend year on year has grown. We moved the budget of Ministry of Health from less than 10%, where we came with about 8%. Now they are well over 11 to 12%, and next year's budget is even higher.
With the recognition of immense benefits to gain from genomic intelligence, also comes threat of the technology being used as bioweapon, which the Nigerian Navy stated their indispensable role to check bioweapons so it may not be used by terrorists.
As we all know, Nigeria is a littoral state with a maritime environment constituting the nation's economic center of gravity. Accordingly, the Nigerian Navy is constitutionally saddled with the responsibility of protecting and safeguarding the nation's 84,000 square nautical miles.
Iribami Salako, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State government, in collaboration with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, set to achieve the vaccination of 4 million Lagosians against COVID-19 before the year runs out. This was disclosed to newsmen during a flag-off of an operation tagged Count Me In. 4 million Lagosians vaccinated against COVID-19 campaign. Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, said the mass vaccination campaign is set to educate Lagosians and Nigerians in general on the need to be vaccinated. He noted that Lagos, as the epicenter of the virus, was able to curb the spread and is set to vaccinate 30% of Lagosians in the next 1 year. Galaxy's Daniel Tenimo reports that the governor said the vaccines will remain free and accessible for the public and urged Lagos residents to visit any accredited centers to get vaccinated for free, and Lagosians from age 18 and above are eligible to be fully vaccinated.
In the fulfillment of my promise and a mandate to vaccinate 30% of the Lagos population within the next 1 year. We also plan to set up mass vaccination sites in high-traffic locations across the state and have mobile vans that will move around settlements to reach individuals in hard-to-reach areas with limited access to health facilities. We will set up a COVID-19 vaccination fixed posts across 205 public health primary centers
that we have studied the manner in which we acquire our first, second, and third wings. We have put a strategic plan in place to dent and flatten the possibility of a fourth wing. That includes a two-pronged approach to ensure that we can control the inbound flights.
As of today, the 26th of October 2021, a total of 5,588,477 eligible persons have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine in Nigeria, while 2,950,236 have received their second dose and are fully vaccinated. This represents 5% and 2.6% respectively of the targeted eligible population of 102 million Nigerians.
And away from health stories, Nigeria's Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has been declared persona non grata in Ogun State by the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC. This is coming after the NLC had given the federal government and Ogun State government a 21-day ultimatum to fix the deplorable state of the Songwater section of the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. Our correspondent, John Felix, reports.
The NLC had on October 6th stormed the Songo portion of the Lagos-Abeokuta highway with the threat to shut down the state if nothing was done within 21 days. A visit to this axis after 3 weeks is unbearable, as academic and social activities on this stretch remains on hold. However, before the expiration of the ultimatum, the Ogun State government on Monday commenced palliative works on some of the failed portions of the road. The NLC, keeping true to its words after the expiration of the ultimatum, mobilized its members to the failed portions of the expressway. Speaking to newsmen, the NLC chairman in Ogun State, Emmanuel Bankole, said workers in Ogun State had declared Babatunde Fashola a persona non grata for lying to Ogun people.
A few days ago, they started some work. We can see some blows by the state government. It's an effort by the state government. But this is not yet what we asked for. The minister was here, and he did promise that he will commence immediate palliative. That is yet to happen. And as such, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, for coming to lie to the citizen of Ogun State, is being declared persona non grata in Ogun State. We are declaring him as enemy of this state, enemy of Ogun State. We don't want him to see him in Ogun State. For coming to lie to us, to fool us, to deceive us, the palliative war we commenced and nothing was done. We see what is on ground, which is the effort of the state government. This is unacceptable. The federal government cannot be collecting all the money and doing nothing and inflicting pains on us. And that's why we are here to make a statement loud and clear that Babatunde Fashola is being declared persona non grata.
Speaking further, Bankole said workers in the state have a right to decent means of livelihood. He, however, commended the state government for the effort so far with regards to palliative works done.
But for the effort that we have seen by the state government, we just make a statement, the place will not be shut down. We are sensitive. We are not here to inflict pain on the citizen of the state. The citizens are already in pain, and we are not here to come and show that we have muscle to inflict pain on them, but to make a statement loud and clear that we will not allow them to make a mess of us. Like Fashola coming here to tell us, and you can imagine nothing, more than 2 months. This is unacceptable to us, and we are ready to take action.
For residents, we seek a lasting solution to the failed portions of the road.
The problem we are now, the problem of this road now, this Lagos to Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. So we want Buhari, President Buhari is the one who responds to this. So we want Buhari to come and do this road. He's not a governor, he's not a senator. We want President Buhari to come and approve this road so that they will do this road in a normal way. If they don't do it, APC, the whole Nigeria, I'll speak. If APC come outside 2023, Nigeria will not vote for them.
Like this morning now, I was taking my wife to hospital this morning. She fell into labor in the early hours of today. If not for the grace of God and the help of good Nigerians, it would have been something else. The woman almost died in the traffic this morning. What kind of government is that? We all supported the APC government, but they have decided to torment and torture Nigerians. It was fair. The governor should arise and come and do something. I know the local government. It is not fair.
The Ogun State government, however, assured that the palliatives, which would run concurrently with the ongoing rehabilitation of the Songwater-Idiroko Road, is aimed at bringing succor and make the road passable pending the completion of its reconstruction. From Songwater in Ogun State, John Felix reporting for Galactic Television News.
And away from that story, an Abuja-based group has recommended the scrapping of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, describing it as performing overlapping functions as those of the police force. The group therefore calls for a repeal of the act establishing the security agency to have its personnel be integrated with the police force. Addressing the media at the Unity Fountain in Abuja, where the group members gathered for a rally, it said taking such a step will boost manpower in the country's security architecture.
The Act, if amended and reformed, will review the current security situation in the country, examine the level of risk to critical assets and infrastructure, and find ways of working together to safeguarding them as well. The National Security Advisor should, as a matter of urgency action, submit necessary recommendations and advices. It is very ridiculous for one to notice the fact that occupying job or acquiring job will be used by giving out money, or you give money to get employment. In such incidents, it is so very ridiculous, and we want to counter that particular move in this country.
I want to use this medium to call on all Nigerian youth to wake up from their slumber. Let's come together and support the President Muhammadu Buhari. I believe in Nigeria. I believe the land is still green. So we are using this medium and this platform to call on all other youth of Nigeria in diaspora and here in Nigeria here with us, that the land is still green. We can still make a change in Nigeria.
Galaxy's Godfrey Shimogi reports that the NSCDC's Commandant General Obaka Audi, who was at the National Assembly for the budget defense session, said scrapping the agency will be counterproductive.
Well, we say no to marriage of inconvenience. Already the labor market is saturated. Once you talk about merger, you talk about unemployment. And these are people that are trained in arms. And you say you want to merge. When you merge, some people will go away. And then they are trained in arms. What are you doing to the society? Already we have enough, we are contending with them in the streets. So no to marriage of inconvenience.
Now, an operative of the Nigeria Customs Service has been killed, while another reportedly missing following a bloody clash with suspected smugglers in Fagbohun village via Idogo, Ipaja, Yewa South local government area of Ogun State. A correspondent gathered that the incident happened on Tuesday when the officers were from the Federal Operating Unit arrived at the village for an operation. It was gathered that the smugglers, on sighting the patrol team, unleashed terror on them as two officers got missing in the clash. However, on Wednesday, the lifeless body of one of the missing officers was reportedly found in a river without his rifle, while the other is still being searched for. The Public Relations Officer of the FOU in Zone A, Theophilus Dunia, has confirmed the incident, saying some suspects have been arrested. In the meantime, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it will establish 6 standard rehabilitation centers, 1 in each geopolitical zone. This is part of efforts to treat the high number of persons suffering drug addiction in the country. The Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired, revealed this at the 5th Biennial National Symposium on Drugs and Drug Policy in Nigeria, organized by the Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse in Abuja on Wednesday. Director of Media and Advocacy, NDLEA Femi Babafemi, made this known in a statement issued on Wednesday. The statement quoted Marwa, who was special guest of honor, as saying, quote, substance use and abuse around the world, including Nigeria, is on the increase in terms of the proportion of the world's population. Now, the Armed Forces and Staff College, AJI, has begun its annual sports competition. Air Vice Marshal Moshabu Olatunji, while flagging off the event, said sports can help foster unity, enhance mental alertness and sound mind of the soldiers. Olatunji, who served as the special guest of honor, appreciated the commandant of the college for continuing with the annual sporting event since the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, earlier in his speech, the commandant of the college, Air Vice Marshal Ebenezer Alade, said the college will use the sports week to develop the physical fitness of staff and students, as well as promote unity among the participants.
As you all know, sports in our nation remain a veritable tool for fostering unity, which must be further encouraged, just as we must do all it takes to foster jointness in our approach to executing military operations. The importance of unifying various groups nationally or enhancing jointness in military operations cannot be overemphasized as we continue to navigate our way out of the current security challenges that we face in our nation today.
For the opening ceremony of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College Biannual Sport Week 2021. We're indeed delighted to have you all in our midst despite your tight schedules. The Armed Forces Command and Staff College Biannual Sport Week is a veritable tool that the college uses to develop the physical fitness of staff and students, as well as foster cohesion amongst the participants.
The event, we hope to keep the students mentally alert so that they can be able to carry out the studies they are doing more effectively. They say all work and no play, make Jack a dull boy.
Now, away from that, officers of the Oyo State Police Command have arrested 2 suspected ritualists with fresh human heads in the Shaki area of the state. The suspects, both from Shaki area, were found in possession of the head. The arrest was sequel to intelligence released to the command attached to Shaki Divisional Headquarters. According to the public relations officer of the command, Adewale Osifeso, the suspects were arrested with the head and dismembered body of the victim. Preliminary investigations by the police revealed that the victim was lured from Lagos through a phone call by one of the suspects, Ismaila Wasiu, before they perpetrated the dastardly act. The dismembered body has been deposited at the morgue while intensive investigations regarding the incident has continued. Now, away from security stories, the National Senior Citizen Center, NSCC, has sought the involvement of private sector in investment, digital inclusion and economic development opportunities for older persons in Nigeria. Director General of the group, Omokaro, made this the demand at the private sector roundtable organized by the center aimed at catering for older Nigerians in Abuja on Wednesday. She held that it has become imperative to engage the private sector with transformation programs to cater for the older persons, as government alone cannot shoulder all responsibilities.
That strategic plan is going to show us clearly our priorities, the structures we need to build to deliver this mandate to the remotest place. However, as we presented our flagship initiatives, you saw when it comes to health, we say we will go where they are. Hashtag go where they are. And how are we doing that? Apart from working with national primary health care to mainstream geriatric health, so that wherever you see a primary health care center, there's accessible primary care.
She, however, assured that the aspirational flagship initiative will help to sensitize the older Nigerians on how to be productive to their communities.
These are our aspirational flagship programs, like you saw, the NSCC Spark Age, where we are going to look at potential productive ventures of older persons in the communities and bring a spark to it by incentivizing our youth to be there, inject some digital technology, inject grants, bring brain trust as persons with expertise to help them. And in focusing on older persons, we can actually create vibrant communities.
In the meantime, Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State says gender equality and unity will continue to be top on his administration agenda. He said this in Kaduna State at a one-day symposium organized by Intertribal Association of Nigeria with the theme, The Role of Women and Security in Securing Nigeria's Democracy. Governor Bello was represented by the Deputy Speaker, Kogi State House of Assembly, Ahmed Mohammed, reiterated the need for unity and peaceful coexistence, which will lead to development. On her part, Zainab Hassan, who represented the national president of the Nigerian Women Congress, appealed to governors to have more women in their cabinet and other positions of authority so as to give them a sense of belonging.
A state whereby women are being featured into the equation of sharing, political sharing. A state where women are being carried along in political appointments. A state where women are participating fully in politics. A state that has been able to harmonize religion, that has been able to break class difference.
Calling out to other governors to emulate the two governors, to make sure that more women are in their cabinets. Because with that, development will be fast in their states, because women are transparent in all their endeavors.
Today, we are in democracy, and starting from 1999, when we returned to democracy after the military dispensation, there is no any other governor or president that give opportunities to women. With some of the opportunities he gives to women, Yaya Bello Adoza is the first governor in the history of Nigeria, the Nigerian democracy, that has his aide-de-camp, that is the ADC, to the governor as a woman.
But I believe having a woman and young people in the affairs of government will collapse the issue of insecurity, will collapse the issue of godfatherism, will collapse the issue of sentiment, will allow the system to be productive, will allow the system to work.
Now, away from Kaduna State, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Benue State Chapter, Monday staged a peaceful rally across major streets of Makurdi metropolis to sensitize the public on the importance of nurses and midwives in various health institutions. The rally, which is part of efforts to mark the Nurses and Midwifery Union Week, saw members from key health institutions holding banners and placards demanding better welfare packages proportionate with their job to enable them deliver better health care services. The leader and chairperson of the group, Esther Akpahe, and Vice Chairman Abel Oga, who spoke shortly after the rally, said nurses who are frontline workers should be treated well like their counterparts.
So the doctor strike, I'm not a doctor, I'm a nurse. But nurses also have their issues which yet to be addressed by government. Is that one, they should consider the health workers first. Advise that government should consider improving the wages of the healthcare provider, particularly the nurse. At the moment, we have gross shortage of nurses all over the world, particularly in Benue State.
Therefore, having worked, you are supposed to be remunerated accordingly, as at when due. And the issue is that our allowances and the remunerations, they are not coming regularly as they should be. So you can work for 30 days and you are not getting the money at the right time. You go hungry. Why are you going to work? How do you perform? These are issues.
While stressing on the shortfalls of nurses, improved remuneration, reabsorption of retired staff, they called on government and relevant authorities to help fight quackery, which is fast becoming worrisome.
Asking the government to do more recruitment. We need nurses, more nurses. So those who have retired and are still willing to do the work, they can re-engage them on this what we call contract basis. So, and there are even those in the labor market waiting to be employed. And then the government has to fight quackery. Every Dick and Harry now carries the white uniform, go to a clinic, and they say they are nurses. And they are spoiling the image of the profession.
And still in Benue State, Governor Samuel Otom has presented the 2022 budget proposal of 155.6 billion naira to the State House of Assembly. Presenting the budget question, budget of economic advancement and growth, Governor Otom said his administration will use the budget as an instrument to achieve the goals set out in the Benue State Development Plan 2016 to 2025. The Speaker therefore committed the budget to the Business and Rules Committee for a second reading.
Year 2021 is projected at 2022 is projected at 155.6 billion naira only.
Being presented by His Excellency. After his presentation, it is considered as being read the first time. So I hereby commit this to the Rules and Business Committee to be slated for second reading on another date.
You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. Let's switch gears for a moment and join our international desk for more stories. Please stay with us.
And now to our international news. At least 11 people have been killed and others wounded in an ISIS attack on a village in the Yala province in eastern Iraq, according to the country's security forces. The attack targeted defenseless civilians in the village of Al-Hawasha near the town of Muqtadiya, the Joint Operations Command said in a statement. Police said the gunmen used several vehicles and semi-automatic guns in their attack. A news agency cited two officials as saying that ISIL fighters had kidnapped two villagers earlier and then raided the village when their demands for ransom were not met. The dead and wounded were all civilians, they added. In a Twitter post, Iraqi President Barham Salih denounced the attack as a despicable attempt to destabilize Iraq. He said the country needed to boost its security, address security gaps, and not underestimate the threat of ISIL. At its peak, ISIL controlled a vast swath of territory in Iraq and neighboring Syria under its self-proclaimed caliphate. Attacks targeted civilians have been rare in Iraq since ISIL was largely defeated in the country in 2017. Although it remains active through sleeper cells in many areas. A United Nations report published early this year estimated that about 10,000 ISIL fighters remained active across Iraq and Syria and still conduct operations, often targeting security forces, power stations, and other infrastructures. A roadside bomb attack targeted a suburb of the capital, Baghdad, in July, killing at least 30 people and wounding dozens of others at a crowded market. In January, twin suicide bombings ripped through a busy market in Baghdad, killing at least 32 people and wounding dozens. Iraqi officials blamed ISIL for those attacks. Southern Italy is braced for 2 more days of devastating rain and flash flooding as a hurricane storm that had deluged streets and killing 2 people continued to barrel through the region. Sicily's President Nello Musumeci confirmed the deaths as the 3rd person was missing late on Tuesday, while the mayor of the city, Catania, urged residents to stay home if possible. Quote, "We have been through 2 very difficult days. We have lived through dramatic hours," Mayor Salvo Polisi said in a video posted to his Facebook page. He said the weather was definitely better on Wednesday, but warned the forecast for Thursday and Friday remained particularly worrying. Red warnings have been issued for Wednesday and Thursday on the island of Sicily and the region containing the city of Catania, which has already been pummeled by adverse weather throughout the week. The storm comes as global leaders prepare to gather in Rome, Italy's capital, for a G20 summit. Climate concerns are high on the agenda at the event, which will be immediately followed by a critical COP26 meeting in Scotland. Hurricanes occur around twice a year, usually between September and December. The system is not expected to threaten the G20 talks in Rome, but adds further urgency to the ongoing efforts of several countries to commit the world to tougher climate change targets. Still on our international news, the African Union has said it suspended Sudan from all its activities after the country's military overthrew the civilian-led transitional government in a coup. In a communique dated Tuesday, the Pan-African body said the suspension will be in place until the effective restoration of the transitional authority steering the country towards elections. The AU's move comes as Sudan is in the midst of a national disobedience movement and strike invoked by the country's main opposition coalition, the Forces of Freedom and Change Alliance, which is demanding the military to step down after it seized power. State oil company workers and doctors joined the call on Wednesday. Military General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan imposed on Monday the state of emergency across the country and dissolved the transitional government and the Sovereign Council, a military-civilian power-sharing body set to lead the country towards elections. Tens of thousands pro-democracy demonstrators flooded into the street of the capital, Khartoum, and its twin city, Omdurman, on Monday following the coup that derailed an already shaky transition towards democracy in place since a popular uprising in 2019 ousted longtime ruler Omar al-Bashir. A group of neighboring committees in the capital Khartoum has announced on Wednesday plans for further protest, leading to what it said will be a march of millions on Saturday. And finally, 2 United States senators have urged President Joe Biden to waive sanctions against India over its purchase of Russia's S-400 air defense system, saying such a punitive measure could endanger growing cooperation. India signed a $5.5 billion deal with Russia in 2018 for 5 of the surface-to-air missile systems for defense against the longtime adversary Pakistan and China, with which it is locked in a standoff on their disputed border. But the proposed transfer has caused friction with the U.S., which passed a law in 2017 under which any country engaged with Russia's defense and intelligence sectors could face sanctions. Republican Senator John Cornyn and Democrat Senator Mark Warner wrote a letter to Biden calling for a waiver on grounds of national security and broader cooperation. Quote, "We believe there is a national security imperative to waive sanctions," the senators said in their letter, which they issued in a press release. They said they were concerned the transfer of the Russian systems would trigger sanctions against India under the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, CAATSA, which was enacted to hold Russia accountable for interfering in U.S. elections, cyber hacking, and bullying Ukraine. India has made a down payment on the S-400 systems, and the first set of missile batteries is expected to begin deployment later this year. The U.S. imposed sanctions on Turkey for buying the same equipment last year. Cornyn and Warner, who are co-chairs of a Senate India caucus, said they shared the administration's concerns about Russia, but they warned of damage to cooperation with India if sanctions were to be imposed. And that is our international news.
And to wrap things off, let's join the entertainment desk.
Welcome to Entertainment News. Nigeria singer Shino Rambo is officially a married man. The much-loved singer shared lovely photos from the court wedding, saying that God will supply all our needs according to his riches in glory. Congratulations to the Adeleke's from all of us at Galaxy Television. Big Brother Niger star Youssef has lost his older brother to the cold hands of death. The reality show star shared the sad news on his Instagram page and also asked for prayers and condolences. Warriors of the Golda Ultimate Search show have started giving followers something to talk about, as 4 out of 18 contestants recently had an argument. 3 out of the warriors accused Omoya of peeping at them while they were bathing. Jennifer stated that while they were bathing, they put their lanterns a bit far away from them to avoid being seen by anyone. However, they could still see who was passing. She added that Omoya passed by and carried the lanterns to fetch water, knowing that they were bathing. Chidima backed Jennifer's story as she stated that when Omoya approached them, she told them to go back as they were bathing. In his defense, Omoya said the women were bathing by the roadside, which was along where he wanted to get water. He also noted that he told the ladies that he wasn't facing their direction. EFCC has said that Naira Marley possessed the unused counterfeit credit cards belonging to different people with intent to defraud others. They revealed how about 2,410 short messages were analyzed from the iPhone, while also stating that different credit card numbers were extracted from the iPhone. According to the witness, the iPhone is a sophisticated device capable of storing a large volume of information, adding that it is the SIM card that basically identify users of applications such as WhatsApp. A witness read out some credit card numbers and messages sent from the iPhone on different dates and time, as well as OTP codes sent. Susan Wire, mother to former Big Brother housemate Kid Wire, is contesting for the governorship position of Benue State. She made this known during a campaign, and photos she shared via her Instagram page thanking her fans and genuine supporters for their prayers and encouragement. She as well encouraged women in politics to register and contest as many political positions as possible. She concludes by saying it's not over until God says. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan have been sued over allegations racist, homophobic abuse inflicted on 2 staffers by their former household security boss. A black LGBTQ woman who served as a security operation assistant and a gay and disabled man who worked as an household operation manager claimed that they were subject to racist and homophobic abuse by billionaire couple former head of security Liam Booth. They also claimed that Booth, a former security service agent whose race has not been disclosed, allegedly made constant comments about his homosexuality, and slapped his groins at a sushi restaurant in 2018. Other employees had previously witnessed Booth's grouping. Zuckerberg and Chan have refuted these claims, and their personal spokesman, Ben LeBold, said in a statement that the company's internal investigation found no evidence of wrongdoing. To wrap it up on the entertainment news, it's Falz the Bad Guy's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Folari Falana, from all of us at Galaxy Television. And that's all for entertainment news.
And with that, we conclude our news at this time. But for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow or interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at GalaxyTV. If you have breaking news around you, you can avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. Simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news at 0818 666 669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your life update and comment. And that's your Galaxy TV News at this time. On behalf of the production team and everyone here, thank you so much for your company. We urge you to please keep safe. I am Kelly Egiga, and I will see you again next time. Bye.